Hello everyone, I am the Lion of Truth, and this is a video I've wanted to make for a while now, for pretty much most of 2022, but I haven't gotten around to it. And now that the Game Awards are over, Elden Ring has won, I think it's time for me to get my stamp out there, to get my word out there to everybody that I believe that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will not be winning Game of the Year 2023. Now, before you crucify me and kill me and torch me, I need you to understand that Zelda always has been and probably always will be my favorite game franchise of all time. I love it with all of my heart. But there needs to be a discussion about the technology that the game is going to be running on that I think most people are overlooking, unfortunately. Now, I'm not one who normally cares, about the game having to be... Like, Zelda, it would be great. It would be absolutely great if it was 4K, 60 frames a second, right? That would be the ideal scenario. But we know Nintendo, we all know Nintendo, and that's not the way they do things. That's not the way they conduct their business. And that's okay. But I truly believe that there are many things going against this game for next year in 2023. Today is December, I think, 12th, 2022. So it's about a year from the Game Awards 2023. I just want to get my thoughts out there. So, first of all, reusing the same exact Hyrule and the same game engine, the same graphics, it's iffy, right? It's similar to how God of War Ragnarok was this year. Do I believe Tears of the Kingdom is going to be as good, if not better, than Breath of the Wild? Absolutely. It's going to be a great game. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be on the Game of the Year list. I can already tell you the Game of the Year list for 2023. It's going to be Breath of the Wild, Resident Evil 4 Remake. There were a couple other ones that I had in my mind. Perhaps Diablo 4 if they don't screw up the microtransactions. Perhaps Dead Space if they don't screw that up as well. Which are two remakes, which is odd. But there were some other games that were going to be on the list. But two I can guarantee are going to be on the list are Resident Evil 4 and Tears of the Kingdom. So anyway, it's the same graphics, the same graphical style, which they haven't done since... I believe it was 2000 was the year. It was Majora's Mask. It was Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were the only two Zelda games, mainline AAA Zelda games, that that use the same graphics, the same art style. I'm just letting it play in the background here. I love this trailer. This trailer blew my mind. I cried. I sobbed like a child when I saw this trailer because this was the first time we had seen Zelda. I was seeing graphics, gameplay of it since 2014. And that 30-second trailer we got with Aonuma. But anyway, yeah, it's the same art style, which is concerning to me, and I'm not too happy about. I always love how they change art styles up, and it's the same Hyrule, right? It's the exact same Hyrule that we had in 2017, so I'm concerned that there's going to be a little bit of familiarity there, too much of the same going on. And then the biggest reason I think it's not going to win is because of the lack of graphical and performance improvements since 2017. If you guys remember, man, 2017, like when the Switch came out, Zelda was dropping frames left and right. The gaming industry as a whole, I believe, didn't know as much as it does now, and we didn't have as high as standards as we do now with games, for 60 frames, 4K, things like this. But, so it got away with it last time. It got away with the dropped frames. It got away with the performance issues. I don't think that's going to fly this time in 2023. When you're competing against, when you have a system from 2017, which is based on like 2014 hardware from a mobile chip, NVIDIA's a mobile chip, when you have that system competing against a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X with their performances, right, in the PC with the 4K and the 60, you know, I truly don't believe that it's going to be able to hold up. I don't think that Zelda's going to be able to hold up. And this is not something that I, fault the team for. This is not the team's fault, the development team. This is Nintendo, you guys. This is the higher-ups, the executives, the suits at the top of the company that refuse to invest in hardware to upgrade the hardware to make better systems. Like a Super Nintendo Switch, a Switch Pro. I think they should call it a Super Nintendo Switch. I think that just rolls right off the tongue and is just... I heard someone say that. It's just perfect. It's a perfect name. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I just don't believe that it's gonna get away with it this time. And I don't think it should. Personally, I don't think it should. I don't think we should reward Nintendo for living in the Stone Age when it comes to technology. I understand that they always put gameplay first. Their games play exceptionally well. However, as we've just seen this year with Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, you're not getting away with it anymore. You cannot get away with it anymore. And a lot of people will try to give Nintendo a pass because it's Game Freak, that developed it, but I'm fairly certain if you look it up, Nintendo owns like 1/3 of Pokemon. They own like 33% of the company. So they are heavily invested in it. And, they thought they could get away with the crappy performance and the frame rate drops. And they didn't. For the first time ever, they didn't get away with it. And that's what I truly believe is going to happen next year. You mark my words. With Tears of the Kingdom. If this game runs at sub 900p, sub 30 frames, choppy frame rate, things that genuinely impact the gameplay, that impact your experience, if it has issues with that, man, oof, that's no good. And I truly believe it's going to take Nintendo not winning Game of the Year with Zelda next year to push out a Super Nintendo Switch, to make a Nintendo Switch, because until then, they have a monopoly, like Zelda is the greatest, in my opinion, right? It's the greatest franchise of all time. Unless somebody comes to challenge that, or if they get knocked off their pedestal, I don't think they're going to change. And that's unfortunate. So, hopefully, best case scenario, they released a Super Nintendo Switch between now and May of 2023. But I don't see that happening. I mean, guys, the game comes out in 5 months? Literally 5 months, I think, to the day almost. And we've seen zero gameplay. We've seen maybe 60 seconds of gameplay. That's incredibly concerning, man. I mean, we saw all of this. This was released June, I'll never forget. It was June of 2016, and the game came out in March of 2017. So we saw this at least 8 months before the actual game came out. And it's based on the same game engine. It's been taking just as long to create it. It's incredible. They're using the same world and the same game engine. You would think the game would be out, or at least have a trailer, have some kind of gameplay going on by now. So I am concerned for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I love it. I'm very excited for it. But I am concerned, man. And I don't think that we should allow Nintendo, assuming it comes out like I'm fearing it does, with some frame rate issues and just some lackluster experiences. Obviously, we're going to be able to explore the sky, and we better be able to swim underwater as well. Those are the two gimmies. Those are the two obvious scenarios that they can improve on with the game, because you couldn't go in the sky in Breath of the Wild, and you couldn't swim underwater. So those are two things where they can absolutely improve. But other than that, man, if it's still running 900p, 25 frames where it's choppy and laggy as you're running around, and there's popping everywhere, and NPCs are just showing up right in front of you as you move, it's not going to do it for me. And I don't think it's going to do it for the gaming industry. And I also don't think that they should be rewarded for that behavior. They need to upgrade their system. Zelda deserves to be 4K 60. That's the bottom line. This franchise deserves to be 4K 60. If anything on this earth does, it's The Legend of Zelda.